Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. All you board ghosts, come with me, we're going home.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Fiasco, the playset Home Invasion. To find out how we generated the story playing the game of Fiasco, go check out our rules episode primer for Fiasco. I am one of your humble players, John Holt. Joining me again is...
Breese.
Back for the second half of the story is...
Hey, everybody. Ooh, I like that.
You're welcome.
This is Pat Cartelli again.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome
Cool.
back, Pat.
Welcome back, Pat.
Thank you for having me once more.
Of course.
Cool.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it so hard.
To kind of recap, why don't we, starting with you, Ken, tell us who your character is and what has happened so far.
Remember, everyone, we are located in Poppleton Terrace, a suburban community that is on the downslope. People are worried. A lot of cameras in the driveways. My character is an old woman. Her name is Gladys Marlow. She is 78 years old. And Gladys is a little odd. I think she's starting to get a reputation of being just sort of eccentric around the neighborhood. She is an invalid, wears diapers and doesn't walk so well, can't see very well, can't drive. You know, she needs help in her life. And so she has a family member, her son, who lives with her. And I'll let you tell us about her son, Pat, since that's you.
Oh my God. Ronald, or as he prefers, Ron Matthews, is Gladys's son. He's 54 years old. He really enjoys acid wash jeans.
Nice.
It
is the 80s. We are in the 80s.
Yeah, they're real good.
I feel like he's real into the boss. He's probably relating to Springsteen.
Of course. Yeah. A lot of white T-shirts tucked in.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely has a mullet. Little unkempt, but yeah, he takes care of his mother, spends a lot of time on the porch, sort of keeping track of all the delivery guys coming in and out. Any car he doesn't recognize, that license plate is going to be written down in the binder that he keeps right next to his rocking chair on that porch. And then subsequently in the backup binder that he keeps inside just in case. So Ron and Quincy, the neighbor with the loud movie theater in the basement, have been working the past 6 years on some garbage policy for the homeowners association.
Garbage is in true garbage on the side of the road.
Like rubbish.
Like rubbish.
I feel like Quincy probably wanted it to be called the rubbish policy, but Ron was not into that
not
word.
having it.
I am a co-author of this revised garbage policy. I am Quincy Marmot, a 65-year-old retiree with an impressive basement home theater collection who has been gathering electronics and updating and upgrading, maintaining his bank of monitors and VHS systems. And somehow he got his hands on a wireless camera of some sort.
Miniaturized camera inside
found in
inside
a sweaty baseball cap. And he may have
surveillance king. He's the surveillance king.
He may have some other cameras around.
Yeah, bad news.
He is watching you.
Yes.
And he may know something about Gladys. He definitely has hinted to both her in a threatening way and her son in a I want to tell you more, but I don't know if I can trust you way, that he has some information. Good old Quincy may have information on a lot of people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But he definitely knows the bylaws of the Homeowners Association.
He wrote most of them. Who knows? And we also have two tilts on our table that we generated last time. We have paranoia. Somebody is watching, waiting for their moment. Very applicable here in our tale. And as well applicable, failure. A tiny mistake leads to ruin.
All right. So that's our crew. Why don't we roll into the first scene of Act 2?
open on Gladys and Ron in the kitchen of their home. It is nearing supper time. Gladys is having a conversation with Ron. She seems very serious. She says, I know he's invited you over to watch a movie, and I know that that's something you've wanted forever. But I need you to do something for me when you're there, son.
What do you need me to do past going over to that house to watch a movie?
I need you to break something.
What do you need me to break, Mom?
I need you to break his main television, his main cathode ray. It would be real easy. You just need to pour some salt water in it. I've made a little thermos for you right here.
And Ron's eyes sort of squint. He goes, do you know how much that cathode ray probably costs?
It doesn't matter. Don't worry.
Why doesn't it? What?
Because I'll be able to fix it for him.
So you're just is this your new thing? When you get bored, I just go around and break things.
No,
and then
no,
you go and,
no. This is important. Come on, Ronnie. You have to trust me now.
How important is this?
Well, it's incredibly important. It could save this neighborhood.
Ron looks into his mother's eyes, and he just can't say no. He reaches his hand out.
She hands him the thermos and says, okay, very good. Now all you need to do is pour this into the top or where the screen joins with the frame, and it'll take care of everything else.
And you expect... So I just sneak in there.
No, didn't he invite you over for a movie? Aren't you friends now?
I guess I could do that. And he sort of looks at the thermos.
I believe in you, Ronnie. You're going to do fine. And once I'm back in there to fix what only I can fix, then I'll be able to save this neighborhood.
So, wait. From what? His loud movies, or?
Yes, that to start. Yes.
What? Okay, Mom.
Okay. Thanks, son. All right.
So how's this going to go?
How does this go?
Let's say it goes real well.
Real well. All right. It goes real well. So what that means is that my plan goes well. So Ronald is able to go to Quincy's. They have a fun time watching a movie together. And at some point when Quincy's back is turned, Ron is able to pour some salt water into the main television set. The cathode ray is scored and broken as smoke starts to come out of it. And it's obvious to Quincy that only the person who has said that they will help him fix his entertainment system whenever he wants, Gladys, is the one who can fix it. And that's where we're in our scene.
Do you want to set up a scene for me?
Sure, we can do that.
Let's do continuous. You're coming out of the Marmot house.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had like a few beers, and you're a little you feel a little guilty from having just like fried a TV.
Yeah.
When he was a pretty gracious host, he pulled out a second chair and let you
Ooh.
use the second chair
There's
while
some
he sat
Jiffy
in the
Pop.
comfy
There's
chair.
some Jiffy
You
Pop.
shared a little Jiffy Pop. There were some tears welling up in old Marmot's eyes,
Exactly.
watching his smoke billow out of his TV as he meekly said, "Just get out." Shoulders hunched, like this is a guy you've spent a lot of time with.
Yeah.
You kind of walk to the corner and you don't notice the gray van that's stopped right in front of you. And it's not until the sound of the door opening in the side that you look up and see two figures in black
Yeah.
Okay.
with ski masks on.
Okay.
And they reach for you and pull you into
They
the
pull
van.
you in.
All right. So Ron is also... I think Ron is teary-eyed too. He's swelling up. His face is red, and you can see the tears sort of just like dripping down onto his unshaven face. And yeah, he was sort of sulking down the street when the van pulled up. And once he heard the door fling open and they pulled him, they pull him in, and all he's able to really yell out is, he was like, "It's you, I knew it." They just take a cloth and chloroform him.
Yeah, so
Okay.
is this
Go
going to
well
go good or
or
bad?
poorly?
Oh, no,
for
I
you.
think that goes really poorly.
It goes
All right.
poorly for you.
So the chloroforming, what is that? What furthermore, like how real bad does it go?
how real bad?
It's definitely to knock him out. It's
Sure,
definitely
of course.
they want to keep him alive.
Yep.
When he wakes up, his arms have been bound behind him.
Where is he? In the jail
Just
cell?
like
or like
tape.
a
No, he's
set-
still in the
like-
back of that van.
He's still in the back of the van. He's
the van,
tied up.
The van is moving
Van is
pretty
moving
slowly through his like groggy vision. I feel like his vision is kind of foggy. He's able to tell that they're driving past some streetlights pretty slow. So he's able to discern he's probably still in some part of the suburb. In the glimpses of the streetlights as they're driving past. The back of the van's pretty sparse. And one of the drivers, he can see up to the front a little bit through like a metal grating, and one of the drivers on his black jacket has also black, so it's a black on black patch. And it has the same insignia that he saw on the circuit board from when his mom was pulling the trash in.
Yeah.
It's just like this. It's a very simple sort of triangular design, but he would recognize it anywhere.
This is the following day.
Mm-hmm.
Quincy Marmot, and it's actually a little later in the day, later than he normally calls on you.
Okay.
And he comes and he says, I need your help fixing my TV.
On the phone, we're talking?
He
face-to-face?
He's face-to-face.
Comes to my home. Well, I am a good Samaritan, and I am a good neighbor. It's very big of you to come ask me after the last time we saw each other. I will help you. When? When do you need help?
Right now, if you're available. I mean, what else do you have going on today?
Well, I have some canning that I was going to get into, preserving, and I had to call on Marcy and see about her dog. There's prayer circle at 8.
Then just come.
No. I can make some time. And in the efforts.
Fine, look, I'll let you watch.
Fences.
I'll let you watch thing if you come now. I'll let you watch a movie. I'll put Sound of Music. I'll let you sit in a chair next to my nice chair if you come help me right now, please.
Okay, I will. I have not seen Ronnie since last night. Did he say something to you when he left?
He was pretty, I don't know.
He had some beers, huh?
Yeah, he was a little bit, let's just say 3 sheets.
Sometimes when he gets real mad, he sleeps in the back of his truck. It's a phase he's going through.
Yeah, well, come on. Let's get this over with.
Oh, okay. I can't move that fast. Cha-chunk, cha-chunk, cha-chunk.
He's just gritting his teeth as you move forward. We get we get to the basement. Yep. You change out the tube with your small hands.
Start commencing.
I don't know everything that you do in there, but you do sit down. I say, you know what? That was pretty quick, and I know I can be real brusque, but I figure if I want to be friends with you and your son, or your son at least, I shouldn't be so mean to you. Why don't you sit in the big chair? And I think that's where the question of things going to go well.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What do you think? The thing's going to go well?
Does that go well
for Quincy?
Yeah, I think that goes well for Quincy.
Okay.
She sits in the chair.
Yeah.
And he says, well, let me just set up the projector back here. And he walks back to the projector.
This is nice.
It's like the red, green,
see why
and
you like this.
It's like the red, green, and I forget the other color. There's those tricolor
blue.
Projectors. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes up right behind. And
could you make a cup of coffee for me, maybe?
One moment, and locks a collar around you, like from in the chair.
Yeah, totally.
And then hits a switch, and your wrists get caught too.
What is this?
And he hits a button on the remote, and it raises the screen away.
Yeah.
And you see the bank of monitors.
Yeah.
And he hits another button.
Psycho!
And the symbol is like made on the whole range of monitors.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you think you would get away with it?
I knew it was you who was making this neighborhood so bad. You make everyone feel horrible about themselves because you are so horrible.
We'll keep them safe from you and your kind.
You don't know anything about me or my kind. I made this neighborhood what it is.
And I slam the door shut, and it's like you recognize then that it's a very heavy metal door. Yeah. And you hear like a shunk of a thing going, and this tape just rolls. You see like on the monitor just the symbol across all the tubes, basically one giant symbol. It's that triangle symbol again. The
door slams, the heavy door, boom, sort of like we cut from where we saw Quincy slamming it basically and locking it or whatever, padlocking it or whatever.
Yeah, pulling the deadbolt.
Chink. Yeah, totally. And then we match cut to the other side of the door. Gladys is sort of going, ah! and sort of everything getting quiet and her looking around. As she looks around, we see her eyes begin to glow. They glow like with an orangish color. And her purse sort of comes out from where it was sort of sitting. And some circuit boards start like coming out of it, like floating out of it. And they start like floating horizontally, like towards
And the TV's
the
kind of glowing in parts too.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Where you had been making
fixes, exactly. We cut to inside Gladys and Ron's household. where in her room, we sort of go up the stairs, the camera goes up the stairs, we see this frilly room with a big bed with like curtains and lace, but underneath it, technological sort of beeping and flashing begins to take place. The only way it goes for me is poorly. There are simultaneous explosions. An explosion in my own home underneath my bed that causes fire. There's an explosion in the theater that bowls me over and knocks me out of the chair so that I am free, but just like sort of ravaged. And you see my skin coming off, and underneath Gladys's wrinkly old skin, you're seeing just like a snake skin, like this ooze-filled sort of like scaly skin underneath it. And you see sort of this arm reaching out from the rubble that almost looks like it's coming out of some like gestation egg. There's all this sort of like goop and ooze on it. And the arm is green and scaled and only has 3 meaty digits.
And like flames are licking the walls.
From that, I think it's just a cut straight back to Ron in the back of his
back to the van.
He's kind of breathing heavy. He had read about so many things like this before, like what to do when you're kidnapped and how to handle it and how to try to figure out where you are. And he's trying to piece everything together. But he doesn't want to alert the guards up front. They've already captured him without much fight. And he's frustrated that he had been crying and he let his guard down. And, and he had hurt his friend. And,
betrayed his friend.
He betrayed his friend, and that upsets him more because he did understand that Quincy was his friend. Even though of all the years of jealousy that Quincy was somebody he admired, had spent years sort of ignoring that. But, now he's in a dire situation. And so he starts to fiddle around and starts to see what he has on him, how he can cut. So his hands are actually taped together. It's just duct tape. It's not a band or anything. Then the tears come back. And he's trying desperately to just to sob quietly. He can't stop the tears, so he's just trying to like power through it. Thankfully, the 2 goons up front can't really tell anything's going on. All he can hear are sort of like these staticky radio waves, sort of like an AM radio station searching for a signal. From the front of the van, he can see that the green radio light is sort of pulsating, and it's pulsating faster and faster and faster. And he's able to get his keys out because they, for whatever reason, didn't clear out his pockets. They sort of tossed him in and ran. He's able to get his keys out, and he sort of wedges them behind his back, and he's cutting through the duct tape, and he's breathing harder and harder. And as he's about to cut through the last bit of duct tape and get free, there's a blinding white light from the front of the van. And he can hear an explosion, and in that moment, the van sort of careens off, and he can't really tell which way, but he wasn't tied in the back. And because he wasn't tied in the back, he gets thrown around, and the van sort of flips countless times, and he's not really sure how many times. And when the van finally skids to a stop, it's on its side, and the back door had sort of flopped open, and it's revealed that they're only sort of on the perimeter road of the town. And he, through the metal and glass and now this smoke and the smell of gasoline, with one arm like really hurting, he starts to lift himself out, and he's crawling, and he's only really able to use one arm to move forward, and he's coughing. And when he gets outside, he's under a single streetlight, and he looks at his arm, the one that hurts really bad, to see to see how bad it is and see if it's something that he could fix right then and there. And when he looks down, the front quarter of his forearm is sort of snapped in half, and some wires are sticking out, and oil's leaking on the street.
How's this going to go for him?
It goes poorly
Very
for
poorly.
him. Very poorly.
There's a blind panic, and he just starts getting himself towards Quincy's house. It's the first thing he does.
Okay.
You black out on the way to Quincy's house.
Yeah.
We're actually it's the front yard of you kind of pull out from where you've like, your light goes out of your eyes and you fade down, and you pull out and you're on the Hendrickson's lawn, right? And within 7 feet of the mailbox.
Yep.
And Quincy walks up.
Nice.
You're within the requisite range. You're mine now. And he gathers you up and drags you away down the street. He taps a button on his watch, and that's similar to the green light on the truck. There's a light, and another gray van drives up.
Yep.
And the men get out, and Quincy sort of points you into the van. He looks around and surveys the neighborhood. And how are things going to go for Quincy? This is wild now, so you guys can decide whether it's going to go well or poorly for him.
I think it goes poorly.
As he is like surveying and looking around the neighborhood, he sees his house down the way burning, and he sees the house next door burning.
Yeah, across the street, yeah.
And he smiles and shuts the door and says, "Onward, back to base." and what he doesn't see as they pull away is the silhouette of a figure emerging from the flames with a melted walker.
Cha-chink, cha-chink, cha-chink. That is not the end of our fiasco. Now we are going to roll our fates. We're going to roll all the dice that we've accumulated. We'll add them together like we did for the tilt.
Yeah, and this is called the aftermath.
This is called the aftermath. My result would be -1, black 1, which is horrible. You are probably dead. Other people, probably innocent people, are as well. There is no justice. There is no mercy. Everything is utterly, painfully screwed, and it's all of it your fault.
So a white 5. Miserable. You are humiliated in a big, public way, and whatever reputation you once had is now in dirty pieces all around you. You'll never think of these days without a shudder of horror at your own aggressive stupidity.
And so I have a white 3. And the things are not going well for any of our characters.
And so these inform your montage as well. Let's hear what John has.
So I have a white 3, grim. The stress and trauma from your little adventure are going to haunt you forever. Bits of your soul are destroyed, and you are missing a piece or two. In a few years, children are going to cry when you get too close. All your plans have ended in complete ruin.
Let's go ahead and start with my first scene in the montage. Gladys Marlow, the creature that once was Gladys Marlow, is coming out of the flames. It's now been revealed as an obvious alien snake lizard creature, and is just moving with preternatural speed as it leaps off of its walker, flying through the air. Its appendages floating and flipping around like a squid or a jellyfish, like it's propelling itself as it lands on top of the gray van, just expels corrosive acid all over the top of it as it's yelling, "Ronnie!"
So Ron, having climbed out of the wreck, is able to get himself back on his feet and can see the smoke in the distance, and he suddenly realizes what that blinding white light had been. And as he's going down the road, his arms sort of sparking and black ooze is pouring out, and everybody, just slowly, every house, one by one, people are coming outside. And he's walking down the center of the street with just a blind stare. Because of his house actually exploding, now there's just paper and ash wisping around the streets. And the town that he so desperately sought to keep clean and beautiful is now turning into like this grim sort of gray snowscape.
Cool. So, yeah, he was in the van. He was dragged into the van, and now he busted out and is walking down the street.
He's like kind of falling out.
Yeah,
so
falling out. Yeah.
As the van dissolved around him, and he watched his men just be like
liquefied, turned inside out.
He and the walls of the van like were crumbling and just disintegrating around him. Using one of his own liquefying men as a shield, Quincy bust out of the van, but hit the ground at 50 miles an hour, spinning and rolling, acid spraying on him. Yeah, and he watches the van kind of skid off into the distance, losing control and crashing somewhere down the way. Yep. And he stands with acid like burning away the side of his face as it sort of eats through, and scowling.
Yep, scowling.
But smiling a little bit because he's still alive.
He's still alive. The alien creature blob form, snake blob.
Formerly known as Gladys.
Marlow leaps again now towards the cyborg android creature that was her son, is her son. Landing near it is blubbering, saying, "Why couldn't you be a good boy? I programmed you to be good and you just went your own way. Why?" And she's sort of like freaking out, continuing to say, "I was calling the others, but it's all been ruined."
In that moment, Ron, through a fit of rage, just starts screaming at who he believed to be his mother. Okay. He's no longer like the panic, the shock has sort of worn off, and now he's just sort of screaming at this alien creature. He's just standing in the middle of this road with everybody watching going, I was good, Mom. I was good. I did what you told me to. I went in there and I poured that salt water onto the cathode tube. And this is what happened. I did what you said. And now look at me, and now he's just sort of like flopping that robot arm around. And
in the background, one of the neighbors is like calling the cops. There's a domestic disturbance out front of my house.
Through the pain and haze, Quincy hears the helicopters coming and hears the sound of tires squealing and sees fleets of gray vans coming down all the side roads and all up along the path. And his face falls and he goes ashen.
Creature formerly known as Gladys looks at her robot creation and sort of blubbers, saying, I only wanted the best for you to have your own life, to carry on the wonderful traditions of our neighborhood of Poppleton Terrace. It was so beautiful here before these terrible humans moved in. I love you. Go, be free. Save yourself.
And the tears for Ron have returned. And he's staring at this creature who he again thought was his mother, and just the logic circuits are just all over the place. And I think it's because he it gets very philosophical in his mind for the first time in his life, because he realized, well, if I'm a computer, then I can what is real, what's not real. And him and Gladys meet eyes once more. Except in this moment, he realizes that this is not his mother. This is just a creature that built him to take care of her, built him to serve. In that fit of rage, he sort of reaches for, there's a pile of trash on the side of the road.
Of course there is.
And he just, in that fit of rage, reaches for the first thing that he can grab, and it's just a bag of garbage.
Bag of garbage.
And he takes it and does what he can and takes it and flings it and just tries to aim it right at her face and flings it through the air, and it sort of tears open as it's flying. And so trash is now just like everywhere.
These vans actually kind of flow past Quincy, and the doors open and men in like full SWAT gear with the symbol, the triangle, and in all on them. And a black like Escalade drives up, like a car, and out steps a man with a black triangle with a small box under it, and puts a hand on his shoulder, and says, "It's too bad what we have to do to this place. You should have been more careful." And he just kind of like turns and hears flashes and gunfire. And the people who had come out to see what was going on being mowed down.
Yeah.
And he sighs. I wish I'd gone better this time.
We'll flash forward to an unknown location far beneath the earth. Gladys is in a large liquid-filled translucent container, like a tube, in a lab. Electrical currents are going through her as she's being shocked and sort of tested on, as we pull back and see many different scientists working on her and learning all they can about this new creature that they found extraterrestrial on their planet. And that is her fate.
So it fades from that, fades to white. And you can't tell at first, but the camera is sort of pulling out. And as the camera pulls out, you see Ron, except now with no mullet. His head's been shaved clean. And it pulls out even further, and arm's still missing. And it pulls out even further, and he's been shackled to the ground of this room with a big steel door. And as it pulls out even further, you can see that it's not only is it shackles, but going up into one of the arms, there's just a set of cables. Set of like just blue and red and black. And Ron's sort of just staring off. And he's not blinking, like, at all. And you can see that his eyes are sort of glimmering with a blue, almost like the color of a TV. And every once in a while, that same green pulsating from the van. And he doesn't make any noise. And as you finally see the full size of the room, you can see that there's a bank of cameras on him from one side of the room. And the camera actually sort of transitions through the wall. And as it pulls out, it goes through a bank of TVs. And it's the same setup that Quincy had in his living room, but this time it's in like a black granite tabled room overlooking a big city. And as it pulls out even further, you can see this very modern chair and just 2 shoulders sticking out the side. And you can see that same triangle patch with the square underneath it.
So we'll take it right from there. That figure crumples up a burger wrapper and throws it in the trash onto there's some letterhead there. And that trash is like, you see a pair of hands take that trash away. You see it kind of being wheeled down by a guy listening to a Sony Walkman.
Yeah.
He's got a jumpsuit with that same triangle symbol on it and the square. It kind of like, you just kind of like, you watch this, the whole like passage of this trash through the system till it gets down into the waste disposal unit at the bottom. And you see Quincy there loading garbage into a compactor, disfigured, scowling at the smell of trash juice all over him. And he throws this paper into the pile, and before another like bag of like sopping waste is dumped on it, you can read "Holistic, Omniscient Men of Earth." and you pull out of the building, and there's this, and you see the symbol is actually like a little house, like just a very simple like triangle with a roof.
Yep.
With that, our story ends. We will return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me, Ken Breese, on Twitter and on Instagram at Berlingsbeard, Berlings, Beard. Yeah, find me there. Love to talk to you guys.
All right. And Pat, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much. I've been Pat Cartelli. You can find me on Twitter at Pat Cartelli, or you can find my podcast, Repeater Show, on iTunes. That's
all right.
Repeater, a little show about big songs. Repeater Show's our Twitter.
Cool. Awesome. So to learn more about the players and engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Please leave reviews and comments on iTunes or your preferred listening portal, and take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. 'Cause dying don't agree with me.